others is being treated somehow as an unparalleled assault on democracy itself. Weird, because it's not clear why giving cable news extremists a security clearance is good for America. But to the left, apparently, it's a central part of the function of government, along with letting non-citizens vote and ignoring the Second Amendment. So what exactly is the reasoning for this? John Summers is a former staffer for Senator Harry Reid, and he joins us tonight. John, thanks a lot for coming on.
You bet. Thank you, Tucker.
So you can't see him, but I'm looking at my cameraman now, who served in the U.S. Army in artillery in the first Gulf War. And he served his country in war. He left. He did not get to take his howitzer with him. Why would John Brennan, who no longer works for the government, get to take his security clearance with him?
Well, because I think what we're seeing is actually another exposure of President Trump's willful. First of all, two of the people he listed don't even have security clearances to begin with. But the reality is what he's actually doing, rather than punishing the people who he's mad at right now, what he's actually doing is putting up an obstacle in front of the people who actually work under him and his administration, who are working to keep us safe. Because what happens is those people...
I'm confused. So, okay, but how does John Brennan, and I want to understand this, sincerely, I don't want to interrupt you, but how does allowing John Brennan, who is a cable news pontificator and a political extremist, you compare his views against the public opinion polling, he's on the extreme, how does giving him a top secret clearance when he does not work for the government, how does that help America? Seriously.
Because, no, and I think that's a really important question, and I'm glad you asked it. Because,
I know, that's why this show raised it originally.
Right, because the people like him, whether you like him or not, are valuable resources to people who are currently in the intelligence industry, who are serving under this administration. They've got a lot of contextual knowledge. They've got a lot of experience. So, and there aren't a lot of people who can match that, who've been through these sort of fires that the intelligence community goes through.
No, okay, first of all, just to be clear, John Brennan never served as a, John Brennan never served as a spy. He's a wholly political guy. He was not out in a trench coat, you know, in Vienna in the 80s fighting the Soviets. He was a desk guy his whole career, appointed by Obama to this post, is entirely political, and is making statements that, again, you know, accusing the president, quote, of treason and threatening the president, for whom the CIA works directly. Their job is to inform the president. This guy is the president's political enemy. That's fine. It's allowed. Of course, I'm not against it. But in what way specifically could the current CIA use this specific man's expertise to make America safer? Like, paint a scenario for me. Make me feel better.
Because it's not just the CIA, and I've not actually worked in that branch of government, so I've not been through those, through those scenarios. But the reality is, like I said, there are very few people who have that. There are very few people who have that knowledge and expertise, and so what
knowledge and expertise?
Look at the crises that we're going through right now and the importance, the major situations that we're going through in North Korea, with Russia, with Iran. You've got people who have served under multiple administrations who have a lot of knowledge on both sides of the political spectrum. And I think when you talk about...
But hold on, I'm not talking about... Slow down. I'm not talking about a lot of people. I'm talking about John Brennan specifically, the former head of the CIA, who walked out of a government job with maybe the single most important government asset he could take with him, which is his access to top secret classified material. So,
well, that's where you're wrong.
Again,
he doesn't have access to classified information. He only has access. He doesn't. He has access to the information that he had when he left. It's on a need to know, and the need to know if he is contacted and asked for assistance.
Here's why it's significant, because it lowers the legal threshold for current CIA employees to call and tell him classified things. It lowers their legal exposure and allows them to leak against the administration, which they are sworn to serve. So you can see the downside, but you have not explained the upside. I don't understand what the current CIA would get out of this.
Up to a 10-year prison sentence. So no, it actually doesn't indemnify them from the responsibility of maintaining classified information. But I want to be clear about what they actually have access to and what they don't, because I don't think the public understands this. And again, this is for people who have served under both Republican and Democratic administrations. And I think
I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about Brennan. Look, the bottom line is that we don't need Brennan to have a security clearance.
A couple of people. The
it's
same
about
standard
a guy who's at NBC. Okay, but no, if you go on NBC and become wildly partisan, which is his right under the First Amendment, maybe you forfeit your right to have a government security clearance. That's all I'm saying. And no one can explain why that's bad, other than it's Trump and Trump is evil.
because it's all partisan and it all targets just a small pool of people. If he actually has an issue the way he described, then it should go against Republicans and Democrats and all people.
I agree, but
and that would be a
all right, John, we're out of time.
Problem.
They're barking at me in my ear. Maybe the CIA. Thank you. Great to see you tonight.
You too.